Thank you so much for joining us for our next webinar exclusively for veterinarians in the PetSure Paws Learn series. I'm Danny Houlihan, Chief Veterinary Officer at PetSure, and I'm your host and moderator for today's sessions. Tonight's webinar on helping clients claim on the spot with GapOnly is brought to you by PetSure and Alex Hawker. PetSure is a company of animal lovers, providing a sense of security to pet parents through pet insurance. PetSure powers the pet insurance propositions of many well-known brands, including Woolworths, RSPCA, and many others. Additionally, PetSure has transformed the claim experience with the development of GapOnly. If you would like to find out more about PetSure or GapOnly, please visit our website. The speaker for tonight's webinar is Alex Hawker. Alex is a product owner professional at PetSure with over 8 years' experience designing, building, and taking to market online products that meet consumer needs. Currently, Alex is leading the national rollout of PetSure's fintech business, GapOnly, a service that innovates the pet insurance claims experience by providing on-the-spot claims assessment in veterinary clinics for eligible expenses. To date, more than 6,000 pet parents have benefited from less out-of-pocket vet expenses with GapOnly, and more than 300 clinic partners across Australia now offering the service, and more being added every day. So without further delay, I'll hand you over to Alex.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Danny, and thanks to everybody for tuning into tonight's webinar to learn more about GapOnly. So before I get started, I just need to read out a general advice warning, which is that any advice provided in this webinar is general only and is not considered your personal circumstances, so may not be right for you. Okay, so first of all, why GapOnly and why today? GapOnly has been really brought to you to try and help you with your discussions and conversations with your clients around treatment procedures and the cost and affordability of those treatments to your client base. I understand it's a very challenging conversation at times where you want to obviously provide the best course of treatment for the patient, but at the very same time, your client's concerned about whether or not they can afford that treatment. Even if your customers do have insurance, the upfront costs can still be a difficult factor for them, because even with insurance, they have to pay the full invoice first and then claim afterwards. Therefore, they're out of pocket for a number of days, potentially until they're reimbursed. And this is where GapOnly helps. GapOnly is designed so that you and your client can actually focus on the health of their pet, your patient, rather than the cost of treatment. The GapOnly has been designed to be really simple to use. It's been fully integrated with your VPMS, and essentially it allows you to submit your client's claim through your VPMS. Once you submit your claim, we process that claim very quickly, and within 10 minutes or so, you receive the calculated benefit and the calculated gap payment. So the benefit is the portion of the invoice that is covered by your client's policy, and the gap payment is the portion that isn't covered. So we return this information back to you via your VPMS within 10 minutes of submission. You then take the gap payment from your customer as you would do with any other form of payment. Once you've taken that payment and confirmed that payment with us, the insurer, we can then pay you directly the insurance payment. Once you then receive that payment, you can then manage all your reconciliation processes. And to help you with that reconciliation, we do send you a daily transaction report so you can see pending payments and all payments received. So then each day, week, or month, when you want to manage your reconciliation, you can do so with those reports. We also send your client a benefit summary as soon as they've taken payment, as soon as they paid you the gap, and basically that informs them of their claim and the breakdown of their claim, or as to what's covered and what isn't covered, but also it makes very clear that the insurance payment has been paid to you, the vet, directly. It isn't a discount for them, it's actually that the full claim has been processed, so they are only paying the out-of-pocket expense as the payment. Okay, so on the slide now you can see an example claim. So if we just take an example of a $2,000 invoice that you finalise and see it as a gap claim, if that claim is then covered up to 80%, your client then pays you the gap of $400. Having paid that gap, we then pay you directly the $1,600. So that is the same $1,600 that your customer isn't having to pay as an upfront cost. It's great for them as a reduction in out-of-pocket expense, but also it means that you get the money directly from their insurer as soon as you provide confirmation that your client has paid the gap. GapOnly has certainly made a difference to quite a few customers so far since we've launched about 12 months ago. And of course, the out-of-pocket reduction, I think, is one of the single biggest benefits to your clients. Now, in total, so far, clients saved a total of $5.2 million in upfront costs. Put another way, $5.2 million have been safely deposited into the number of GapOnly vets that are now offering this service. Now, GapOnly can be used for all eligible claims, large and small, and so far the largest single out-of-pocket reduction actually exceeds $12,000. So that's a huge benefit to that particular customer. In terms of the wait time, of course, we do everything we can to process the claim within 10 minutes. And we're proud to say that at the moment, the average wait time for clients is actually less than 8 minutes. It's currently sitting at 7 minutes and 36 seconds, which is very impressive when you think that every claim that comes through to PetSure is then picked up and assessed by one of our qualified vets and vet nurses. We're obviously very interested to see what customers think about GapOnly as a general concept. We asked a cohort of customers about whether or not they find GapOnly an appealing concept. And interestingly, 80% of the customers that we asked found GapOnly to be appealing. So much so that 46% actually said they would seek a new vet to be able to access GapOnly, which is a significant portion of those customers. But also that 64% would choose an insurance product that offers GapOnly over one that doesn't. So when they get to do claiming, they can actually access the benefits. GapOnly's been in market now for about 12 months. Since go live, we've been rapidly expanding our national network. So we're currently live at over 330 partner vets nationwide. You can see from the map on the screen that the largest concentration of GapOnly vets is in New South Wales and Queensland. Not by design necessarily, although that's where we're getting most of our interest at the moment. So our actual rollout strategy is national. Lots and lots of inquiries now from vets to get connected to GapOnly. So each and every week we're seeing these numbers. So quite literally painting the country orange. Now to get the full listing of GapOnly vets, if you visit our website on gaponly.com.au and find your nearest vet, you can see which vets are currently listed as GapOnly enabled. Now, GapOnly works in partnership with a number of our pet insurance brands, but also in partnership with a number of vet practice management system vendors. So if you're using one of these three VPSs, RxWorks, EasyVet, or OpenVPS, you are technically able to get integrated with GapOnly. In terms of which insurance companies, I've got those listed on the slide as well. And this represents roughly about 80% of your insured customers. So if you're using one of these three VPSs, you can get integrated with GapOnly. If you're then integrated and you've got a good insurance base, then 80% of those insured customers are eligible. Pre-approvals is a really nice service that we offer as part of GapOnly to give both you, your staff, and your clients more certainty around coverage for the prescribed treatment that's being proposed to your client. This is a nice way to give your client comfort and certainty and peace of mind that what you're proposing in terms of the treatment is or is not covered by their insurance policy. Now, the service we offer for GapOnly is that we allow you, the treating vet, to get in touch with your client's insurer by giving the vet hotline a call, and you can then request a pre-approval. And there's two types of pre-approval that you can ask for. The first type is a standard type, which is basically, is your client's policy going to cover the treatment that's being put forward for the diagnosed condition and prescribed treatment? So it'll come back as either approved, declined, or approved within benefit limits. And we will return that response to you within 20 minutes. If you give us a call, we will either keep you on the line for a couple of minutes if we can do it quickly, or we'll call you back within 20 minutes with the result. And we'll also email your client with the outcome as well. Now, if your client actually wants more detail and they want to understand the actual estimate amount that's covered under their insurance policy, you can also request this type of pre-approval. This may take a bit longer, and we do ask you to submit this type of pre-approval request by email, by emailing vethelpline@petsure.com.au. Now, of course, with a pre-approval, as with a claim, if you haven't got the full set of information necessary to make the assessment, to provide the confirmation, we will have to try and obtain that information to provide you with the outcome. So what we recommend you do is, if your client is asking for a pre-approval, or if you think your client would benefit from a pre-approval, we ask you to actually put that request in as early as possible. So when your client makes the appointment, you can always give us a call and ask us to do a vet history check. So we can see whether or not we've got all the history for that particular patient to make sure that we can then complete that assessment within the 20 minutes. If we haven't, then we'll either ask you for additional information if you have it, or we'll ask another treating vet that the customer has on our records. If you can't do it at that point, you can then always put the request in when your client arrives for the consultation, or worst case, you can do it at the end of the consultation. But again, just to call out, if you do it at that last point, there may be potentially an issue with us not having all the information. So again, to avoid the risk of not being able to process it, we do ask that you request as early as possible. The GapOnly has been designed to operate in two particular ways within your clinic. So the VPMS solution has been built to be really, really simple to use, but we do appreciate that how you embed it into practice can be applied in different ways. So what we found over the course of the last year is that the vast majority of GapOnly claims are offered for surgeries and hospitalizations. Now, in those cases, the best solution is that you actually submit the GapOnly claim pre-discharge. So before your client arrives in the clinic, before that discharge appointment, before they pay the final bill and then leave the patient, you can actually submit the claim before they arrive. And that means when they do arrive later in the day, then the GAP claim has been processed, the GAP invoice is sat there in your VPMS, and they just need to pay the GAP before they leave. So it's nice and simple for your customer. Now, again, you can lodge the submission, as soon as the invoice is finalized, as soon as the consult goes to complete. But to do so, you do need to get the consent from your client. And again, the best way to do this is as early as possible. So you can ask for that consent when they make the appointment, or when they drop off the patient at the start of the day. If you do that, then you don't need to then phone them and get the consultation that way. You can just submit the claim before they arrive. The other way in which you can operate GapOnly in your clinic is via the on-the-spot process. So this is ultimately where your client arrives for consultation, and immediately after the consultation, you obviously finalize your invoice and your consult notes, and you submit the claim on the spot whilst your client is waiting in clinic. And again, we process that claim within the 10 minutes, and then the benefit amount, the GAP amount will come through your VPMS. You can then take payment of the GAP amount and essentially process a claim in front of your client. Now, if for any reason the claim takes longer than 10 minutes, we would know quite early on. So if there's a large complicated claim with several pages of invoice line items, it may take us 15, 20 minutes to process that claim. If that is the case, we will give you a call as soon as we think it's going to take a bit longer. You can then relay that message onto your client. If they're happy to wait for these extra few minutes, then that's perfect. We can continue with the GapOnly claim. If they decide that they don't want to wait, then we can convert the claim back to a standard e-claim. And what that means is they will then need to pay you the full invoice amount, and we will then process the claim as an e-claim and reimburse your client for the full amount within the next few days. We've got, say, 330 vets now live with GapOnly, and a lot of the vets have got some really positive things to say about this service. They're really delighted to be able to offer this service alongside other customer service offerings. I think GapOnly is very complementary across the suite of other payment solutions. So this is a good example from Dr. Shirlene from My Vet in Waterloo. She's been live now with GapOnly for quite a few months, and the reason why she was very keen to pick GapOnly is because she knew that a good percentage, 25% of her clients, were actually insured. Therefore, she knew that a lot of her clients would be eligible for GapOnly. So referring back to my earlier slide, about 80% of customers are eligible. That's quite a big portion of 25% of your clients are insured. So she knew that this would resonate well with both her clients and her staff who have to deal with the clients around the billing process. And she recognised that some of the biggest challenges that her staff face is around that billing process, about discussing the upfront expense of paying the invoice before they claim. So having GapOnly there has really helped to reduce that stress between both her staff and her customers. And really it's about offering from their perspective, the best choice in customer service. So she's been really delighted with this service, how it's enabled her customers to really focus on the type of treatments and procedures rather than just cost of those treatments. Customers are also really enjoying this service. I've just got a few sort of testimonials and product reviews on the screen so that you can read. But really the sentiment across the customers is that it's really, really simple to use. Watching their claim get processed in front of them, having their claim processed before they leave the clinic is a really value add thing for them. The reason they buy insurance in the first place is to have a very easy way to claim. There's one particular story on the top right where a poor customer's puppy ingested xylitol, and this actually resulted in an emergency procedure. But all up, there were two claims, one with the emergency centre and one with the specialist centre. One offered a knee claim, one offered a GapOnly claim. And what this meant in its totality is that the out-of-pocket expense was around $3,000. With the Gap payment, she was able to have her claim process on the spot, only paid the Gap because she was covered for the 80%. And with the e-claim, she did make the full payment after making a deposit, but that was reimbursed for the full amount within about 2 to 3 business days. So that's a really nice positive outcome for a customer that went through a very stressful time. Again, the main sort of summary from this slide is that GapOnly is no fuss, it's quick, easy. It offers a significant benefit to customers who perhaps can't afford the upfront cost. Now, getting set up with GapOnly is very straightforward. So I've talked about the VPMSs that are compatible with GapOnly, EasyVet, RxWorks, and Open VPMS. Now, if you're operating one of those things, it's very easy to get connected with GapOnly. You simply need to get in touch with us, and we will then manage that process end to end. So I've got a team of account managers that will actually be in touch with you, and they'll manage the integration with your vendor on your behalf. They will also conduct necessary staff training to make sure that you and your staff feel empowered and able to use the system. Again, it's all being fully integrated into your VPMS. And seamlessly so. It's very simple to use. But even if you are facing maybe a few difficulties around how to do it, we will provide you with some lovely user guides to actually give you a very, very quick and easy step-by-step guide on how to create, submit, and manage a GapOnly claim. And we have these available for each of the major VPMS vendors. Now, as soon as you get integrated with GapOnly, as soon as you completed your training, we will then list your clinic on our GapOnly website so that your clients, old and new, can actually see that you're offering GapOnly. The next part of this webinar is really around promoting GapOnly. So of course, you've now got this great service that you're offering. We've got you all set up and you're good to go. But really it's important that you let your existing clients know that you're now offering this fantastic service for them, but also it's a really good way to get new clients to choose your clinic as their treating vet, knowing that you're offering this GapOnly service. So how do you actually promote GapOnly? Well, one of the best ways to promote GapOnly is to do so within clinic. And this is where the whole promotional activity starts. So as soon as you get onboarded, we will then send you a GapOnly welcome kit. This is a lovely orange box that will arrive into your clinic, and within the orange box will include a number of important assets that you can use in clinic to make it very, very clear to customers that you're offering this service. It's a lovely A4 poster that can sit on your reception area, outlining very clearly that you offer GapOnly, but also listing that there are pet insurance partners, so the customer knows if insured with one of those brands that they can get GapOnly within your clinic. We've also got a decal option for you, so you can actually put a sticker on your reception desk or on your window so passers-by can see that you offer GapOnly. And we've also got a really nice 2-minute video that I think really outlines the benefits of GapOnly from the perspective of the customer, what it means for them. And so you can also display that in your reception area if you have the means to do so. It's quite a nice way to really animate and show the benefits of GapOnly. We also have a subtitled version, so you'd have to hear the same music and voiceover all day. You can actually silence it with the subtitles. So you've got your clinic all set up and it's looking wonderful with all the orange accents to actually promote the use of GapOnly and the offering of GapOnly. And the other way you can actually really promote GapOnly is via your website. So obviously clients, especially new clients, go to your website to learn more about what you do and what you offer. So it's a really nice opportunity to really shout out that you are offering GapOnly as part of your service offering for your insured customers if they're eligible. So there's a really nice marketing toolkit that we can provide you that actually includes approved copy that you can literally copy and paste and put into your website. That makes it easy for you, but also it protects you as well, because of course we are talking about services for insurance. So it's really good that we provide you with a copy that has been approved by our compliance team. I've just got an example here of VSS, Veterinary Specialist Services, that do a very good job of promoting GapOnly on their website. And they've informed us that, you know, customers do use their website to find out what services they offer, and some of them have gone to their clinics as a direct result of seeing this offering on their website. So you've got your clinic set up, you're promoting on your website. Another really good way is to promote your offering via social media. Increasingly, the world is operating via social. It's a really good opportunity for you to also talk about GapOnly to your followers. So again, for new customers, existing customers, you can really shout that you're offering GapOnly. And of course, we've got a very active GapOnly channel, and the easiest way to get coverage really is to just re-share our GapOnly posts. If you do that and add a bit of narrative that you're also offering GapOnly, this gives you really good reach across the social media channels so that people know that you're offering GapOnly within your area. If you want us to shout about your use of GapOnly, feel free to send us an email to inquiries@gaponly.com.au, and we'll be more than happy to post a social media posting about your clinic. I think testimonial content is really valuable, so talking about the benefit to your customers and to your staff. So again, that's a very powerful way to really talk about GapOnly in a way that resonates with others that may be thinking of using yours. Another good way to talk about GapOnly to your clients is to actually email them directly or to send them a newsletter. So you probably already send emails and newsletters to your client base. You can always add an insert about GapOnly or do one that's specific to GapOnly. Now, when you go live with GapOnly, we do email your customers that are eligible to let them know that you are offering GapOnly. This is a really nice way to sort of generate leads for you, so the customers know that you now offer GapOnly, so they can come to you to access this service. Also, as you're getting used to using GapOnly and it's embedding into your practice, we will continue to reach out to your customers to actually inform them that you are offering this service. So if they came to your clinic and you offer GapOnly, but they opted to use eClaims, we will send them an EDM just to give them a reminder that actually they can use GapOnly for their next claim. Obviously, at the moment with the COVID crisis, one of the positive aspects of this, I think, is that there's been more adoptions and more puppies being purchased. So I think there's been definitely a growing demand here for puppy packs. I believe that most of you, or some of you at least, do offer puppy schools and do have puppy packs available for your clients that have just adopted a new puppy or kitten. Now, what we do recommend is that you can use our leaflet. Just got a screenshot on the screen there, so you can see our little leaflet that outlines, again, what GapOnly is from the point of view of the customer. You can actually include that as an insert into your puppy pack. So again, that the new pet parents can basically realise and understand what GapOnly is and what it means for them early on in the life of their pet, and they can use that service within your clinic for the life of their pet. This slide is really just to talk about how to tag GapOnly within your social media posts and on your website. So we do ask that you spell out GapOnly as GapOnly one word, with a capital G and a capital O. The reason being, if you don't do it that way, then your tags won't get picked up and the reach will be somewhat limited. So we do ask you to tag it correctly, but also it's really good from our brand point of view to actually have consistency in how we're talking about GapOnly to our mutual clients. So just a quick sort of summary slide. I just want to sort of just remind ourselves what is GapOnly. GapOnly is peace of mind. It's peace of mind that comes with certainty of insurance coverage. So again, that refers to where you wish to offer GapOnly pre-approvals to your customers before treatment. GapOnly is also on-the-spot access to your client's pet insurance benefits, so on-the-spot claiming, where they can actually see whether or not they're covered at that point in time, and if they are, then just to pay the gap portion that isn't covered. So GapOnly is about reduced out-of-pocket expenses for clients. GapOnly is about delivering the correct choice of treatment for patients, without it really being overshadowed by affordability and the cost of the treatment. GapOnly is also direct payment, so as soon as you take the payment of the gap from your client, we then pay you directly for your client's insurance benefit. So that's a very important part of GapOnly. But also, I think more holistically, GapOnly is about helping your conversations with your clients about the interplay between treatment cost and affordability. This final slide is really just going to give you a bit of a flavour as to our eClaims service. So eClaims is another service that we integrate with many VPS vendors. We've now got over 1,000 vets across Australia that are now integrated with eClaims. eClaims and GapOnly use the same integration technology. So if you're integrated with eClaims already, getting integrated with GapOnly is very, very straightforward. If you're not using eClaims or GapOnly, then of course we can get you integrated with both services at the same time. But eClaims is an awesome service. It basically allows you to submit your client's claim on their behalf through your VPMS. And you essentially submit the claim. It automatically attaches your patient's history and also the invoice and consult notes for that particular claim. So there's no paperwork, there's no signing of documentation. It's very, very simple. You literally submit the claim. We process that claim within 24 hours. We notify the client as soon as you receive the claim. They receive their benefit amount, and you can also track the claim throughout its history within the VPMS. So it's a really nice, simple way for claiming. And eClaims is integrated with EasyVet, OpenVPMS, IrisWorks, but also Sidehouse as well as a fourth new integration. And over 200,000 customers have been benefiting from eClaims over the last 12 months. I mentioned before about our social media channels, so you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn to learn more about GapOnly, to follow our testimonial stories, and just to get a general sense of how the community are enjoying this offering. So that's probably it from the webinar formally. So Danny, back to you.
Thank you so much to Alex for the webinar. To give, I guess a personal testimonial for GapOnly. So my clinic was very fortunate to be one of the first clinics selected to trial GapOnly, and that feels like a lifetime ago now, and we absolutely haven't looked back. Our clients love it. It's quite easy to use, and from a client perspective, even though a great majority of clients in referral practice are insured, there is a big handful of clients that would not have gone ahead with the procedures we'd recommended if it hadn't been for the GapOnly system, because the out-of-pocket costs would have been too much for them. So for my clinic, it's been absolutely fabulous, and thank you to PetSure and to Alex for the GapOnly system. If you'd like to learn more about GapOnly, PetSure, or the Pause and Learn webinar series, please follow us on social or visit our website. Thanks again, and good evening.